Well, here it is, the F-Type from Jaguar, one of the most anticipated cars of this year. And on this review, you're going to see two versions of it, the base model, the white car, and this one, which also has the 3-liter supercharged 6-cylinder, but with a little bit more jump. The one we don't have today is the supercharged V8, but this is one fabulous car. Let's have a look around. Sure, Jaguar is a premium brand, but when you compare this car to other performance roadsters with this much power, the all-new F-Type is a relative bargain. The body is built off an aluminum substructure for optimal weight savings, and the roof is fabric, also to save weight. By the way, the roof can go up and down in 12 seconds, even while driving at speeds up to 50 kilometers an hour. The first thing you notice when you get in the new F-Type is that it has rich materials, all kinds of different contrasting colors and textures to make the cabin pop. They call this a 1+1. It's really all about the driver, and the passenger gets to come along for the ride. In an era of overly complex interiors, this is a refreshing change. It's all about simplicity, keeping the driver's mind on the car and on the road. There's 3 big dials for the heat. You can dial into the information and navigation system and use that for pairing your music on your phone or receiving phone calls. There's the pistol grip shifter here, and there's a few other buttons. One, of course, that's most important is raising and lowering the roof. So a simple interior. It's all focused on the driver. So let's drive. There are 3 F-Types to choose from. The first two use a supercharged 3-liter V6 with gobs of power. The entry model starts at $76,900, and for that you get a healthy 340 horsepower. Then there's the V6 S model with a higher output version of the same engine at 380 horsepower. That starts at $88,900. The top model is the supercharged 5-liter V8 with an earth-shattering 495 horsepower for just over $100,000. Now this beautiful white F-Type that I'm driving is the base model, but it still has 340 horsepower, and it really has a lot of snap to it, mostly because it's utilizing an 8-speed automatic transmission. There's also a button here, you click on the dash, and it changes to what's called dynamic mode. That changes the shift pattern of the transmission and also the sensitivity of the throttle to get even more out of this 340 horsepower motor. You can also slide the shifter over to one side, get you into sport mode to get crisper shifts, and of course there's paddle shifters here on the steering wheel. Now this really is a fabulous car. You've got the open roof, you've got a very planted car on the road, but you've also got conventional hydraulic steering. Now what does that mean? A lot of car manufacturers have gone to an electric power steering to get greater efficiency, but Jaguar knows that this is a performance-oriented car, so they want their drivers to feel the road beneath them, and that's what you get with a hydraulic system. So I'm glad to see that they're really serious about making this not just a prestigious and luxurious car, but also a performance car. Now what this car has that the white car doesn't have is a switch here on the dash that gives you the sports exhaust. It opens up the baffles and you get that beautiful noise. When you lift off the throttle, you get the burble. It sounds like sex on wheels. It's just fantastic. Like, listen to that. You know, this proves that V8 power isn't all that it's cracked up to be. These smaller supercharged engines are so much fun and lively and way more efficient than anything that we've seen in the past. So that's fantastic. And you know what? The 40 more horsepower in this S version really is quite noticeable. It's so much fun and it really feels well planted. As I mentioned earlier, it's got the hydraulic steering, great feedback to the driver, the brakes are fantastic. It's just a lot of fun to drive. And I was thinking, if you're not gonna get this car and you're gonna get something else, what would you choose? Maybe an SLK from Mercedes, a Boxster would be a great choice. A Boxster S, of course, a Cayman even. You know what, a Z4 from BMW. Now either this car has more power or it's cheaper than a lot of those options. Plus it's got a look that is fantastic. So I'm really impressed with the F-Type. The only thing, it doesn't have a manual option for the gearbox. It's got an 8-speed, but I would really like to try this car with a manual. That would be fantastic. Now, because this F-Type is being sold in limited batches, they really are going to hold their value. No one has a crystal ball, but I predict these cars are going to be very sought after in the used market. So that compounds to the fact that I think this is a great value car. 380 horsepower for this model is just as much fun as a more expensive 911 Cabriolet, an SL for Mercedes-Benz, much more expensive. Even if you look at the Cayman or the Boxster, I think this car really has something unique going for it. Great styling, it stands out in the crowd, and it's been turning heads everywhere we go. So if you're in the market for an F-Type from Jaguar, you will not be disappointed.